Yep, no joke tonight, guys. No joke. Tonight, I was forced to put the Roman Reigns shirt back on. I brought this shirt out how many times throughout this year with my special introductions for my live reviews to just vent my frustrations on how the WWE has continuously tried to shove Roman Reigns down our throats with the bad booking. And I have said how many times, again, I went out of my way earlier this year to make an honest opinions video about Roman Reigns, how I'm the guy who believes that Roman Reigns is a good talent. But the problem is, as always, they book him in a way that has a company telling us, screw you all. Because it all started back in the 2015 Royal Rumble. Tonight's episode of Raw, it felt like that whole thing was lifted off of us, in my opinion. But not for a good reason, of course. But we're going to get into this very emotional roller coaster episode of Raw that pretty much just summed up this whole night and this whole day for me in general, because it's just, oh my goodness. Whew. I am still shocked beyond belief. And here's the thing. I might have to take one of my tweets down on Twitter. I want to throw this out there now because I don't want to be the one to crush any, hopes and dreams of I shouldn't say crush, but, make things a little bit obvious why things happened tonight that happened. Well, besides, of course, the stuff that is part of the show and not the stuff that will better be more so real life. Because let me tell you something, WWE, and I'm going to say this right now. If what happened at the beginning of the show, which I am 95% sure, I'll say it, 95% sure that Roman Reigns really is sick with leukemia, which he better be. And I'm going to believe that. Believe that, I shall say. But I am dead serious when I say this. If the WWE was that cold and literally did that just to show how desperate they have been to get Roman Reigns over, then I literally, no joke, will stop watching WWE. I am not kidding you. Again, I am not trying to sound like a mark here or whatnot, but I'm just saying right now, Roman Reigns is sick with leukemia. I'm going to believe that. I believe it. There are some internet trolls that are saying that, they're just doing this just for the heck of it. I'm saying no. If this is something that just to trick us, then again, I literally will stop. But I'm not going to be that fan. I'm going to be the one to sit there just supporting Roman Reigns as he does return home to Pensacola, Florida, and go through his next battle with leukemia, which we'll talk about that more in just a second. So before we get started, of course, I just want to say I feel we offer prayers up for Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i, however the heck you pronounce his last name, that he does have a fast and speedy recovery as well from leukemia. Having leukemia, I don't know how it feels. This is knock on wood. Haven't been that severely sick before. Of course, having leukemia, is nothing to, just sit on your butt about. He's going home and doing something about it. And the speech he gave tonight was just emotional. Get into a second. But also, I just wanted to give a moment of silence. Well, I shouldn't say moment of silence because, Roman Reigns, is not dead. Thank goodness. I hope it doesn't lead to that. But I just also ask also for your prayers also for me, because the reason why my day was a little emotional because this morning I found out a close family member of mine, one of my dad's cousins, unfortunately passed away of lung cancer after he was diagnosed back in February. Was doing better. I literally had just seen him last month at our family reunion. He said he was doing better, but then he was hospitalized last week and I found out the cancer spread all over the place. Said he only had about a week or two to live and he passed away early this morning. So if we could please just pause and there's a moment of silence or silent prayer as well for my distant cousin and for Roman Reigns as well as he goes into his battle with leukemia. Thank you guys for that. But anyways, let's get into the review now, guys. Again, what's going on after that long introduction? But what's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you, and I am live for my live review of Monday Night Raw, the October 22nd, 2018 edition of Monday Night Raw. Of course, that means we're 1 month out from my birthday. And of course, also, even though this is not any wrestling news at all, a happy birthday to my favorite baseball player of all time, Ichiro Suzuki, who turns 45 today. He's not officially retired because he's going to be playing in the first two Mariners games next season when the Mariners open up the season with a series in Japan. So, of course, he's not retired yet, but we're here to talk about, as I said at the beginning of this review, this emotional roller coaster ride of an episode of Monday Night Raw. Now, again, I probably was going somewhere when I was saying this before, but the one thing I wanted to point out that I noticed tonight, again, I might take this tweet down because I gave Vince McMahon praise for what happened at the end. I mean, he may have been involved in the plans. However, though, when I went back and watched some highlights on YouTube, they showed that 2.5 minute segment of Roman Reigns backstage, getting the support from everyone backstage, which was definitely great to see. There was one person I noticed that was not there, and that was Vince. So it must have been one of the nights where Vince was not there and Triple H was in charge, it looked like to be tonight. So if Vince was there, I'm not sure if we would have gotten the episode of Raw that we got. Overall, though, for an episode of Raw, here's the thing. It was a great episode of Raw. I gave it a pretty good grade. You can probably see if you're reading the description box already. But personally, this was not a go-home. This did not feel like a go-home show for Evolution. This show was Evolution. Screw you. Because, especially if you have not checked it out, please go to my friend Robbie Kenobi's channel immediately and watch the 2-hour edition of Robbie's fantasy booking for his fantasy match card for Evolution. That makes Evolution feel a lot more important and feels like a legitimate Evolution than what we're getting right now. Right now, as of now, we only have 7 matches set for Evolution. We have the Battle Royale, which is full of a bunch of no-names. And apparently some legends are coming back, but we don't know who besides Tori Wilson. If anybody else knows anybody else who's going to be in that Battle Royale, please leave it in the live chat, which I'll check that in a few minutes. So the Battle Royale, we're getting the finals for the Mae Young Classic, which is going to include any of the following 4 women. Well, actually, I won't say because I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything in the live chat for anybody, whoever's not seen all of the Mae Young Classic yet, even though I've heard the rumors of what's going to be, but I'm not going to say it. That the NXT Women's Championship match between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, please, 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 do not have Vince touch any one of them. Not physically, but I'm just saying, do not have Vince touch any material at all for that match. That they're Triple H's property, pretty much, not Vince's. So I do not want Vince to ruin an NXT Women's Championship match. We're getting a 6-woman tag team match with Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Ronda Rousey versus the Riot Squad, which I have a rant on that I want to do later on. The Raw Women's Championship with Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey, which again better not be the main event. The tag match with Alexa, Mickey taking on Trish and Lita, and then what should be the main event, in my opinion, the SmackDown Last Women's Standing match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Does that really sound like a card that feels like, special and makes this event feel like it's some big historic event? To me, most of it feels like just a bunch of, matches on Raw and SmackDown thrown onto a card. For the most part, in my opinion. It doesn't feel special. Yes, you don't want to overexpose it with all this, these legends coming back and whatnot. But a Battle Royale and a lazy 6-woman tag team match, come on. And a Raw Women's Championship match featuring someone who's claiming that they are involved, that they are the true ones who started this women's evolution, but then still claim to be a diva. That makes absolutely no sense at all. But we'll get into that later on. As we gotta get started and talk about this, once again, as I'm describing it, this emotional roller coaster ride episode of Raw that Triple H was in charge of. So let's see who we got in the live chat. Let's see. We've got Larry. What's up, Larry? Saying prayers for a Joe and why. I can't remember. Again, I'm sorry, I cannot remember how it's pronounced. But yes, thank you, Larry, for joining me. Yes, prayers for Roman Reigns. He feels like shit tonight. I am sorry to hear that, Larry. I hope you feel a lot better. What's up, Mark? He's saying he's still in shock about what happened at the beginning. Yes, but at the end, oh my goodness, we'll get into that later on. It's going to be a long night for me, guys. Trust me. I have a lot to talk about on here and in front of the green screen as well. And I got to get up early tomorrow, but I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff tonight before I go to bed. Larry's shocked too. What I don't get is why would they wait until this? We'll get into that shortly. I don't want to say anything to them. Larry feels the same, but they can't do something like that. They would lose everything if they play with a thing like that. Again, I'm not even joking. If they literally would be playing around with us with this whole thing with Roman being sick, again, I'm done. I am officially done. I will throw this shirt in the garbage. Well, again, not to blame Roman Reigns, but I will be done. I will be done with WWE if that's the case, because that's just sickening to me. That would be a new low for him. Exactly. Sorry for the loss. Yeah, thank you guys for the thoughts and prayers. Definitely. The grade I gave it, yeah, well, again, I know I gave it a pretty high grade. I mean, I would not have been that high if it wasn't for that ending, in my opinion. But again, we will talk about that towards the ending. We got what's up, Robbie? Hashtag Casey versus Lacey. Yes, like that would be an awesome match if it happens. Mark says the Battle Royal is basically going to be everyone that was in the Women's Royal Rumble for the most part, pretty much. But again, it's a bunch of jobbers. Early preview for a random doing it. We're having a bunch of jobbers and no names, like people who aren't really worthy, except for maybe like 2 or 3 people in that match who are worthy of a women's title match. Yet we have 4 out of 6 people who are worthy of being in a title match, being involved in a pointless 6-woman tag match. That's a preview for my rant. It is a cop-out match, as Robbie mentioned now, and in his Evolution thing. You really have a lot of turns to do now. Yes, I have 3 turns to do tonight, guys. 3 turns. And again, I got to get up early tomorrow morning. So I'm getting started as soon as I get this review. But we have a lot to talk about this. It's going to be worth it. I can always go back to bed tomorrow and take a nap. Because I have to get up early and drive my mom to work. Because I have to take one of our cars in later on to get worked on. But yeah, so we have a pretty busy night tonight. And have a busy week to begin with. So I'll explain my situation for this week at the end, just so you guys know what the schedule will be, because I'm only going to be available Monday through Thursday this week. But let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Let's get into it. And also, I have my polls going on Twitter, and I will give them out right now. For what grade would you give Raw? And the turn that happened at the end of the night, was it the right time to do so? And so far, I'm getting very mixed results on it. And I would appreciate also if you would of course, when we get towards the end, save it towards the end, guys. That way, we don't talk about it too soon to get off track. But I want to know your thoughts on the turn tonight. If that was the right time or if it was the wrong time. But we'll get right into it and see what we got. So we open up the show with the big dog, Roman Reigns, making his entrance. He comes out, and I'm thinking, okay, Evolution is this Sunday. Why are we having the Universal Champion come out? Is this just to address something more with Crown Jewel? Actually, I thought maybe we will cancel Crown Jewel, because it was revealed today that John Cena and both Daniel Bryan are apparently refusing to go to Crown Jewel to because of all this controversy happening. Again, either cancel it, or as my one friend suggested, move it to the UK. Move it to the UK. A safer location than Saudi Arabia. So I'm sorry, what's going on over there right now? It's not safe for the WWE superstars to be going over there. But WWE is insisting on going back to Saudi Arabia, and no offense, it's making it look like money whores. But anyways, let's talk about this. Roman says he feels like he owes everyone an apology. I'm thinking, somewhat makes sense, even though not completely, because yes, he has not been defending that title like he said he was going to do when he first won it. But remember, a couple weeks ago, acting general manager Baron Corbin tells him that he's not defending that title until Crown Jewel. Which again, why would a heel general manager stop a babyface champion from defending their title? Like, it made absolutely no sense, as I said before. So he said how he has been coming out here and saying a lot of things, like how he'd be here every single week, a fighting champion, a workhorse. But that was all lies. He composed himself, and I'm just like, is he going to pretty much, just say, but that's going to change as, I will be defending it at Crown Jewel. Maybe he was going to ask him to defend it tonight. But then he says his real name is Joe, and I'm like, oh. And he then says he's been living with leukemia for 11 years. Now, I've, watched WWE24, with the Roman Reigns special they made right before WrestleMania 31, the first ever WWE24 special. I listened to the podcast with Talk is Jericho. I've seen a lot of times Roman Reigns has opened up and talked more about his personal life. And not once did I ever get any implication that Roman Reigns once suffered from leukemia. Although it might be the fact that he didn't want people to know, which I can understand that. Because, I'll give you a prime example. I'm from Pittsburgh, and the Steelers have James Conner as their running back. As most Steeler fans and some people may know, James Conner suffered from, I think, Hodgkin's lymphoma during his college career at Pitt. And, I'm sure he appreciates the respect he gets for people supporting him, like, through that and what he gets now. But I'm pretty sure at times also he doesn't want to constantly be looked at as a cancer survivor, which, I'm not saying there's any shame in it, but, people always want to move on from that. So that could be why, Roman Reigns never revealed, or Joe and I can't pronounce the name. Hasn't shared that with us. So he reveals that he's been suffering from cancer leukemia for 11 years. And unfortunately, it's back. And because of that, he can't be that fighting champion. He's going to have to give up the title. First time of the night, of two times, my jaw it dropped really low. So low once again. He's not looking for sympathy. He's not looking for us to feel bad for him, because he has faith. And when he was diagnosed at 22, he put it into remission real quick. That was the hardest time of his life, a young man with a baby on the way with whom football was done, but WWE gave him a chance. And when he finally made it to the main roster, we made his dreams come true. It doesn't matter if we cheered or booed. We always reacted. For that, he has to thank us so much. Then we started getting the thank you Roman chants, which was appropriate. Chants go up, and he says, we know the deal. Life isn't fair. And sometimes life throws you a curveball. And right now, the thing for him to do is go home and focus on his family and his health. He fights back tears, which I don't think he got too emotional compared to somebody else. He got somewhat, but not as emotional as somebody else. But he said this is by no means a retirement speech. After he's done whooping leukemia's ass once again, he's coming back home. And when he does, it's not going to just be about titles and being on top. It's going to be to show all of us, the whole world, his family, friends, children, and his wife, that when life throws a curveball at him, he's the kind of man that crowds the plate and swings for the fences every single time. He'll beat this, and he'll be back, and we'll see him very, very soon. He loves us, and to believe that, and then he sets the microphones down. He holds the title in his hands, and then he sets it down as the thank you Roman chants continue. He shake hands and fist bumps everyone as he heads up, and out comes Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And Seth Rollins, again, Ambrose, obviously looked emotional too. Seth Rollins man, you were the biggest baby face of the night, my friend. You indeed were. The emotion on his face, like his eyes were all red. He was crying the hardest out of the three of them. Roman started showing some emotion. Of course, Dean showed a little bit as well, but it was just a crazy moment. They embraced. They did the shield fist bump one more time, and then they walk out. Just like that, the whole WWE landscape just turned completely on upside down. And I will say this, and I don't want to sound like a jerk or one of those fans that's trying to, push some things back in some people's faces. I was on Twitter after this, and I noticed, and all due respect, there are some people that I know that were huge Roman Reigns haters. And I wouldn't say I was a complete Roman Reigns hater. I've been that guy that just wants to see Roman Reigns succeed in a reasonable booking. As I've said how many times, I believe the guy is talented. The guy is a good worker. He has put on great matches, and yes, he has had some bad promos. He's had some good promos. The guy had it there. It's just the WWE needed to stop booking him as in a way of backstage telling us, screw you all, this is how things are going to be around here. And that's, again, and not just with Roman Reigns beginning to be pushed at the wrong time of the 2015 Royal Rumble, but what I didn't appreciate was I saw people on the internet tweeting towards people that are not Roman Reigns fans saying, I'm sure you guys are happy now. I'm sure you wanted this to happen. That is just straight up cruel. There are people, yes, that, I think, who do not respect opinions, people who were fans of Roman Reigns and who were not. You know what? I never wanted to be that guy. I never want to be that guy that everyone make anybody feel bad for being a full-on Roman Reigns fan. But to fire back at the haters and just accuse them of being flat out happy that a guy is sick with a serious disease, no excuses. Personally, there's people in this world that, I want nothing to do with. There's people who I'm not fans of, like professional players. There's, I've had people break my hearts. I've had friends betray me. I've had a lot of people who are out of my life right now that I don't want to be involved with right now. But if I ever heard that they were either dead, which has happened before, I knew someone who I didn't completely, the word I'm trying to say here is, I had a broken relationship with that never got fixed. And they ended up getting killed a couple years later in an accident. And I never made peace with that person. There are still a few people right now, honestly, I have nothing to do with, where it's a former friend, an ex-girlfriend, or, even a close family member that may not be that close with. But if something terrible, like being diagnosed with an illness or, being worse, dead, I would never be happy. I would never be happy for someone who got sick or was dead. I would never wish that on anyone. So I'm sorry, and I hope I don't get any heat for this, but anyone out there who's trying to fire back at the Roman Reigns haters saying that, oh, you must be happy now it's happened to them, then you just sunk to another low. You sunk to a low. Yes, there are people in this world, again, who probably made Roman Reigns fans feel bad for being a fan of Roman Reigns. But how does that make you guys look any better? I'm trying to do a therapy session, but I had to get it off my chest. Like, that just pissed me off when I saw that. I would never, ever wish any of this upon anyone. So I apologize for that rant there, but I just had to get that out. But boy, did it set the stakes for what we got later on tonight. And again, this may be an overgraded show with the grade I gave it that Larry revealed in the live chat. But, man, just that ending, just wow. Because I still felt there were still some things I felt were not bad on this show that were still tolerable. Like, honestly, I would probably give the show maybe a B or a B. Probably like a B or B minus if it wasn't for that ending. And that ending was just unreal and just capitalized what the show was. But anyways, let's continue on now, as let's move on now from the the Roman Reigns shocking announcement, which once again, Roman Reigns, well, Joe Anoa'i, I wish I pronounced his name right. Your family and thoughts are my prayers, and I will not be afraid to wear this shirt to support you. And I will gladly welcome you back to the WWE with open arms, no matter if WWE tries to shove us down, you down our throats again and whatnot. The speech you gave tonight sets the tone for someone who's coming back as a hero, someone who's setting an example. And that's all I'm going to be saying about Roman Reigns tonight. But we're not, under any circumstances, done talking about the Shield. There's a lot to talk about when that comes. Afterwards, we have Michael Cole talking about how sometimes you forget that the folks in the locker room are real people and that their prayers with Roman. And Renee, breaks, character pretty much and mentions, of course, how he says how Roman and Dean, and really says that Dean is her husband. Talks about their relationship over the past 6 years and also offers his thoughts on his family. Corey Graves does the same thing as well, because apparently I remember also hearing on the Talk is Jericho podcast that Corey Graves and Roman Reigns' families are both really close also, because I think Corey Graves actually was the one that helped Roman Reigns pick out his wrestling name, because Roman wanted to be Roman, just Roman only, when he was just Leaki or Roman Leaki in NXT, and then he had to have like a more solid last name. So he thought Roman Reigns sounded good, but first he wanted to spell it like a raindrop. So there was a guy around NXT at the time called Calvin Reigns, but then Corey Graves pitched the idea to him about spelling it like reigns, like a king that reigns and whatnot. And he liked that better. So I just want to throw that out there as well. So we got that. That we were told that night later on we're going to be getting a match with Rollins and Ambrose taking on McIntyre and Ziggler for the tag titles, as well as seeing DX and then having a contract signing for the Raw Women's Championship match. Finn Balor then comes out, and then Lio Rush comes out to hype up Bobby Lashley. We didn't get a match with Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley. I was surprised we had a match already, because I thought then again, we still have Crown Jewel to get past. So maybe this match was to set up something bigger. I'm glad they kind of toned down the Lashley chance, because no offense, but again, I like Lio Rush on 205 Live. He's awesome. And I think, him and Bobby Lashley teaming up is definitely a good thing. But if they're going to have him scream, Lashley, Lashley through the entire match, it is going to get annoying after a while. And Lio Rush will eventually get white heat, in my opinion. So maybe tone down. I'm glad they started to tone down a little bit. But, the match with Bobby Lashley was good. And Finn Balor was, it wasn't astronomical, but I found it good in terms of the fact that it definitely, started, showing more of a strength trait with Bobby Lashley and whatnot. Finn Balor, though, got a schoolboy roll-up pinfall for the victory, though. So the feud is continuing. I was shocked to see Lashley lose. But I feel this is something I can get behind, because this is Lashley pretty much, just attempting to be more of a dominating badass than just a goofy guy coming out going, Sammy, good to see you again, buddy. So we'll see where it goes. I feel like this was okay. I didn't hate it. Again, it wasn't astronomically awesome, but I found it intriguing, and hopefully it'll actually lead the WWE trying to take Finn Balor more seriously, at least since Roman's not going to be around for a while. Maybe he can get back into the Universal title picture. Well, I'll explain towards the end, of course, though, who I think is going to get involved in the Universal title feud after we get past Crown Jewel. So anyway, Finn Balor wins. And then we have what do we have next? We have Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler backstage saying they need to look over their shoulders now. And Drew says last week he made a choice, which was a recap of, Braun Strowman pretty much splitting up from them. And McIntyre had the Claymore kick. And he said last week he made a choice because it's a kill or to be killed. Dolph says everything they've done together, they've set an example. And at Crown Jewel, he has a chance to cement his legacy and be the best in the world. McIntyre assures him Braun Strowman needed them more than they needed him. And after tonight, Ziggler won't have to worry about a thing. He walks off, but Dolph calls him back to ask where he's going. And Drew replies, monster hunting, which is kind of settle the fact that, Dolph honestly is a more cowardly heel. McIntyre is, the more aggressive heel, whatnot, which I like. He's not afraid to go after Braun Strowman. And I still feel, though, again, they should have had McIntyre in this whole World Cup tournament, which I'll talk about the World Cup thing in a second also, about why I feel it shouldn't be called World Cup tournament now instead of Ziggler, because, Ziggler's been losing a lot of his matches, and he only won one. So I can't really take Ziggler being in this whole World Cup thing too seriously. Not a fan of that. Then we have Ruby Riott taking on Sasha Banks. And again, here's where my rant is coming. I mean, this match with Ruby and Sasha wasn't bad. Ruby got the win after, of course, a little bit of a brawl with Bayley and Natty and Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. Just the usual stuff we get from the matches. And I keep saying, I see matches involving Ruby. I'm trying to see more of just Ruby and not the Riott Squad. And Sasha and Ruby working a program together, singles matches wouldn't be bad if the Riott Squad was around. But as I said before, the biggest problem I'm having with this 6-woman tag match this Sunday is the fact that you have 4 of the biggest stars on the women's division. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya, and Ruby Riott. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan? Nah, not really. You're having a battle royale for a future women's championship match, and it's all brands in one match. Probably getting NXT stars, legends, Raw, SmackDown. My thing is, though, is how you have 4 of the biggest stars, even though I wouldn't want to see them in a battle royale, how do you have them in a pointless tag team match? But you have Dana Brooke, Alicia Fox, Tamina, a few others as well that aren't ready to be in the title picture yet, or aren't worthy of being in the title picture yet, and you have all of them in battle royal for a championship match. Yet you have a pointless 6-woman tag team match that's gonna accomplish absolutely nothing. We know who these talents are. It's not like they're showcasing off talents like the Mae Young Classic or whatnot, or it's not like the Riott Squad taking on a legendary couple of legends or whatnot. It's just a pointless 6-woman tag match. And even if they would have had Bayley and Sasha have their match that we should have had this year that we're not going to get because they ruined all that. But that would have been better. But instead we're having a pointless 6-woman tag match with 6 women that now feel like absolutely nothing. They're apparently not title contenders. They're not involved in a number one contenders match. Match happens. Ruby wins, which I was fine with that. I mean, the match with Ruby and Sasha was fine, but maybe just was fine to split up the Riott Squad. Seriously, split them up, turn Ruby face, and turn Sasha heel. Solves our problems, right? We had something that resolved with the men, right? Huh? Literally, I mean, again, despite this being a pretty good episode of Raw, it was no way in hell a go-home show for Evolution. No chance in hell at all. We didn't get a replay of the Brothers Destruction's Boiler Room promo from last week. And then we get Nia Jax on a promo saying it's not about your gender, it's about your talent, and nobody should let anybody pull limits on their hopes and dreams, and pledges to win the Evolution Battle Royal for a title shot. Let's check the live chat, because I haven't checked it for a while, and I have talked quite a bit. Let me see here. I think we were here. Larry says he has mixed emotions about the turn. Shocked for about 5 seconds, and realized that it wasn't as big because they teased way too many times. He felt. I knew Roman Reigns' real first name was Joe. Well, Leaki or Joe, but I can never pronounce his last name. I knew that was his real name. What's up, Bowl of Eyes? Poor Reigns, indeed. And Seth lost it. Corey Graves as well. Robbie says, Mike, with Roman out of the Universal title match at Crown Jewel, please do your hand gesture and say Crown Jewel. should they insert Drew McIntyre and make it a triple threat again? Well, with Roman out of it, and with McIntyre and Strowman now having beef with each other, you know what I gotta say? You're a genius, Robbie, and that's why I like you. Well, they could insert it in there, him in there if they want. I mean, Brock should take the pin to whoever wins it, especially now since, well, getting too far ahead of myself here. But I'll talk about that more towards the end. But that is a very good question, Robbie. And honestly, I wouldn't mind McIntyre being inserted into that match, but we will see what happens. Renee was pretty emotional too. I thought it was special seeing her acknowledge Dean as her husband and their relationship with Roman, which again I feel was definitely appropriate as well. Larry says, "Tell them, Mike," which, yeah, I had to say what I'd said before. I hope he comes back strong and also with a new attitude, maybe also with a new look. Maybe we will see. And Sammy, Mike, hands in the air, crown jewel. What's up, T and Couponer saying hashtag pray for Joe. What's going on? Hope everything's well. I like Mark's line, taking a page out of Big Ass's book. I miss Big Ass, by the way. He says, and I will say it in Big Ass's voice, I believe that the Bella twins are laying their mouths write checks that their asses can't cash. Yes, exactly. I do agree, Mark. Doing good, but tired from work. Yet work is definitely pretty nerve-wracking turning it out. What's up, T Couponer? Yes. And he thinks it was the wrong night, but I will give my opinion sure, but I do respect that opinion. We'll talk about that. I hope Roman kicks cancer in the mouth. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. From that Jack in the Beanstalk promo. They better not give Brock the title back, because they do, we're going to see it, but a major pay-per-views. They better not give Brock the title back. There's no reason to give the title back. Give it to Strowman or even McIntyre if they put McIntyre in the match. They can't give it back to Brock. No way. No chance in hell. It would make absolutely no sense to put that title back on Brock. Absolutely none. But thank you guys for the stuff in the live chat. If Ambrose versus Braun versus Brock would have been interesting if, well, don't get too far there, but I'll continue this live chat. I will leave my thoughts on the certain big turn that happened tonight towards the end. Anyways, are you ready? Triple H saw Michaels come out in DX gear, DX music, and whatnot. Triple H says there's a lot of big words getting thrown around lately, such as fear. It was fear, apparently, that kept him in the boardroom and kept HBK retired. But he's got news for us. It's going to take a lot more to instill fear in them than a lunch hour GoPro cut in the boiler room of Knox County Hall. Sean says that neither of them are running for mayor, and another word that's been thrown around is nostalgia, which he was hoping was a Greek word that meant new merch, but no luck. He thought about it again, and they both know that nostalgia is just a real polite way of saying old. Hunter agrees, but suggests that nostalgia-wise, there's a movie called Halloween that came out just now and is number 1 at the box office 40 years after the original. Plus, Mr. H is puts over his draw in Australia and says maybe old is just a really polite way of saying they're better. He talks about the X in DX. It says maybe that's in the past. But there's another X that says they're better. And the future is now. And I love this part when the HBK adds, and they're running that too. And we get the NXT chants and whatnot, which I'm like, I love it. It's awesome. You're damn right you're loving that. We're loving and you're running that other X in NXT. And it's freaking awesome, as I shall say. And you were in charge of a pretty good episode of Raw tonight, I thought. Whether I highly grade it or not, whether that turn happened at the end or not, this was still, again, at least in my opinion, a B or B minus episode of Raw. But I gave it a little bit higher of a grade because that turn that happened at the end. And they addressed that Kane and Taker, they're not gonna come to make them laugh. They're gonna come to kick their asses at Crown Jewel. And if we're not down with that, they got 2 words. But then Shawn is cut off by some really strange music, and then the dong hit. Undertaker and Kane appear on the Tron, says that DX Reunion will be the vessel of their destruction, and they'll bring their depravity and despair and unleash their contempt. Hunter should have stayed away, and Michael should have stayed retired because they can't outrun the clock, and they can't survive the Brothers of Destruction. The camera cuts to the tombstone with Triple H's and Shawn Michaels' names, birth dates, and death dates of November 2nd, 2018 on them, and saying that they'll owe them and they will never rest in peace, but they will, of course, rest in peace. Apparently, they'll be taken out of Crown Jewel, which, despite the effects, a little thrown out by this promo, the fact that, I felt that the story was going for Undertaker to push Shawn Michaels out of retirement. And then the draft match with Triple H happens, and it just feels like it had nothing the stories had nothing to do with any heat between Triple H and The Undertaker. And then it's supposed now it's feel like they're trying to force Shawn Michaels out of retirement. Undertaker trying to find that happy ending to his career. But then now we got this making something like that, you should have just stayed where you're at. So kind of back and forth with how I feel this. I mean, I like the effects that they're doing with those boiler room promos, but again, the part with Taker and Kane and what they said kind of confused me a little bit, I gotta say. But that's all I gotta say about that promo. We once again, which I was usually, again, I'm not a fan of, the same promo being shared over and over and over and over again, but I was completely fine with Roman Reigns' announcement about his leukemia being shared over again. I was fine with that. They were then informed that Stephanie McMahon and acting general manager Baron Corbin decided that at Crown Jewel, which I'm still not going to watch that show, it will now just be Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. As now it's just those two. Again, I do like Robbie's idea of Drew McIntyre being added. That would be good. Especially since Drew has absolutely nothing to do. Which I think it makes sense for them to at least have Braun and Brock. Simple storytelling of Brock obviously has his rematch clause, and Braun, cashed in for Hell in a Cell. But the fact that he didn't have a conclusive decision in his match, he obviously is still owed another shot, pretty much. So I can't say his cash has been a complete flop yet. No offense, if Roman was still around, it would have been a complete flop. There's no way that Roman was dropping the Universal Championship at Crown Jewel. Does you guys like it when I do that? There was no way that was going to happen. So hopefully now this will capitalize it. But of course, I got a little bit to say about Braun when we get a little bit later on. But we then get a recap of the segment last week with Ronda Rousey pretty much just laying in Nikki Bella, just saying how the only door she's ever knocked down was the door to John Cena's bedroom. Burn. We then have Paul Heyman coming out, saying Roman Reigns will be the first person. He gives his respect and thoughts and prayers out to Roman Reigns. He'd be the first person to tell you the show must go on, though. So at Crown Jewel, it's going to be just Strowman and Lesnar, and only one can say they're worth of the prestige of being champion, and that sure as hell is not Braun Strowman. He reiterates Brock's desire to take the title to UFC and claim he's the best WWE has to offer, and says that Braun isn't in Brock's league, category, or stratosphere, and he's not even a member of the same species. Out comes Braun, which, we have we kind of speculated, and I heard apparently he officially solidified at a house show. We kind of speculated that Braun Strowman turned face again last week, and apparently he fully did at a live event this past week. He tells Paul that tell Brock that he's gonna beat his ass all over Crown Jewel and bring the title back to Raw every single Monday. He knows he's had his differences with Roman over the years, but when he beats leukemia, he'll be first in line for a title shot, which at first kind of soured me when he said that. I mean, because like, okay, all of a sudden, Roman's now your buddy and whatnot, and you're willing to give him a title shot after him and his little faction costed him your cash in. But that taste kind of like, wiped out my mouth after what he did in the main event. I liked what he did in the main event. But anyways, he puts over that, and he says, but for now, Lesnar's going to get these hands. He poses, and then out comes McIntyre and hits him with a Claymore kick and lays out Strowman, which I liked. Again, McIntyre was not being a coward there. He was going out there and going after him because, McIntyre started this. He's going after Strowman now to say, hey, I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to come after you after what you did to us last week. Although, as I keep saying, though, WWE's now turned Braun Strowman back to being a babyface. And now they're going to try to act like, well, not completely, but now it's going to be like, oh, he's a face guy. You guys can like him again. You only turned him heel because you wouldn't turn Roman Reigns again. You could have somehow made the Roman and Braun match with Hell in a Cell be face on face. You didn't have to turn Braun Strowman full on heel again. Braun Strowman, needless to say, needs to be a babyface. The damage was done, but with him beating Brock at hopefully beating Brock at Crown Jewel, you have the opportunity to make things right. Putting the title on Braun Strowman, or if you want to put the title on McIntyre, if he gets added to the match, that's fine as well. Because either way, the feud for because there's no way that the TLC match with the Shield and like Ziggler or McIntyre, especially after tonight, there's no chance in hell that match is happening now. We could get a TLC match though between two other people tonight. Could be for the IC title, but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. As we're getting closer to the end of the second hour. But I feel, though, that the Universal title feud coming out of Survivor Series should definitely be Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. That'd be an excellent, excellent feud in the main event I want to see. And for the first time, the Universal Championship could feel very prestige with two fresh faces, with the championship involved in that feud. Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman will be an excellent feud that I would pay money for to see. And I cannot wait for it to happen. And I am positive it's going to happen. But let's continue on here, guys, as we get a video package of what's going on with Alexa and Mickey and Trish and Lita. We then see McIntyre walking backstage. When Ziggler rolls up to play hype man shortly after followed by an interview, McIntyre says he's not afraid of the repercussions of attacking Strowman, and he's not afraid to do whatever it takes to win. He's not a child that checks under his bed and in his closet for monsters. And when Braun comes to and gets the cobwebs clear, he'll know the truth that he needed them. But first, they're going to focus on what matters, defending their tag titles, which set for a main event with Ambrose and Rollins and McIntyre and Ziggler. We have Elias and Ray about to play the song, plays us a few bars, and does his usual entrance. And he just talked about Apollo Crews interrupting him last week, so he wrote a song about it, and he's going to sing it for us right now. And there's Apollo Crews. I thought maybe they're kind of continuing on this feud with Apollo Crews and Elias, which not the most exciting thing, but I'm thinking, maybe could help at least Apollo also, because again, I always thought Apollo Crews, again, was great in NXT, but again, brought him up way too early, and now he's doing nothing. He's not even with Titus Worldwide anymore, apparently. That alliance is, I don't know what that is anymore. He comes out, Apollo and Elias have a quick little match. Elias wins by drift away. Now, I had this small little itch. Like the way the camera was shot and the way Apollo looked, I thought maybe, just maybe, because after what all Apollo said last week, I thought maybe they would do a double turn. Have Apollo attack Elias and do a double turn there. And I even saw, I can't remember who it was, someone mentioned it on Twitter, the idea of maybe having Apollo teaming up with Bobby Lashley and having Leo Rush as Apollo's hype man as well. Could be an interesting alliance. I mean, eventually it could lead to, one of them turning face and lead to a match between them, which I do think the two of them having a match, if they're both booked good, they can put on one hell of a match, I feel. So I had the itch. Maybe they will do it soon. I don't think so. But my hopes for Apollo though kind of died after this. After that, so I didn't do it. Then we got this promo with Kurt Angle backstage talking about his career, saying it's been tough to accept he can't do everything he used to do, and now years removed from debate and being the best ever, he finds himself with a chance to prove it by winning the WWE World Cup. But it won't be easy, and maybe his biggest challenge yet. And he explains by putting the rest of the field over. This problem was weird because one, why is Kurt Angle ever since Roman? I've noticed this ever since the match with Roman and Brock was set for SummerSlam, and he's literally like Roman Reigns' biggest fan, saying how badly he wants Roman to kick Brock's ass. No offense to Kurt, but why has he been booked to being the WWE's biggest corporate cheerleader? To me, this probably sounded scripted. It was just weird him putting over these big stars like the way he did, whatnot. And also, it even pitched. I even saw again. I can't remember who it was, but somebody even said this on Twitter that why did they just make this a King of the Ring tournament instead of a World Cup? Especially the fact that they're all Americans. They could have had Drew McIntyre be in there. They could have had Cesaro in there. I mean, they could have had Angle, like McIntyre, Cesaro, not Jinder Mahal. We didn't see him tonight. Thank God. No Jinder Mahal. Well, I didn't check the results from main event, see if he was on there, but that doesn't matter. We didn't have Jinder Mahal on the show. Thank the Lord. But yeah, like mix it up a little bit. It's all Americans in this World Cup. Rather than just calling it King of the Ring or something like that. So it was weird, but we had that. But then we have Elias afterwards, back on stage, resuming his concert. He said he was feeling so good after that win that he wanted to come out here and give us the truth. But then out came the acting GM, Corbin. Says he's sorry to interrupt, but as acting GM, it's his job to keep the show rolling, and there's a lot of stuff left to do, so they don't have time for his performance. He was talking to Stephanie McMahon, at which point Elias cuts him off and says he's sure Steph wants to walk with him. So he's going to go ahead. Corbin says he's GM, so what he has to say is far more important than his performance on his little guitar. Elias gives us a death stare, and Corbin tells him to back off, that if Stephanie didn't like him, he'd be fired, and to get off the stage. Elias doesn't budge as the crowd gets behind him, and he apologizes, saying he was off in his own little world, writing a song while Corbin was sucking the life out of the arena. He tells everyone to he tells Corbin to shut up, and he starts playing. He says how he can see the fear in Corbin's eyes. Now he's just a giant puppet with Stephanie's hand up his ass, and then Corbin cuts him off and yells at him, which takes a second, but the second, on the sound, but he pretty much begs the sound guy to cut off his microphone. Corbin tells Elias to get off the stage, and it's time for the Drifter to get up, which he does. He walks away. He argues with Corbin off mic for a moment before heading back. Corbin resumes talking, but then Elias comes back, and then bang, hits him with his guitar. The Drifter drifts back away and gets a huge pop and leaves Corbin leaving in a pile of guitar, smoke, and whatnot. So it looks like they turn Elias face tonight, which I'm for, because obviously, yeah, Elias's in-ring work can improve, but I personally think it can improve by having him turn face. He's got the character, he's got the act, and people love it. And what I liked also is Elias is being a babyface to Corbin by pretty much doing what he normally does, but just faced it solely on him. telling Corbin to shut his mouth and silence his cell phone. I loved it. And I think it's the right move to get someone who the crowd is behind to turn face. The second brownie point that happened tonight that they got to do. They turned Elias face. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Obviously, it's probably going to tease for maybe Elias teaming up because it does look like they're teasing a Team Angle versus Team Corbin for Survivor Series, which, hey, I am completely on board for that. A Team Angle versus Team Corbin, something different for a 5-on-5 elimination match. Maybe Elias will join Team Angle and could make a name for himself, in that match. But I'm excited to see where this goes for Elias, who seemed to have turned face. And again, I'll be doing a turn alert on him and Braun Strowman. Of course, one other person after this, even though I got to get very early tomorrow, but again, I will do that. But also, I got to say one little beef. If Elias is going to be a babyface, can we please stop having him use his guitar as a weapon? It drives me nuts because he never uses guitar as a weapon in NXT. And he had a little meltdown when Cassius Ohno destroyed the guitar. So can we maybe stop using the guitar as a weapon unless it leads to Elias having like a breakdown or like a heartbreaking moment or something? I just had enough of it. Let's go back to the live chat and see what we got here. Let me see. We got a lot going here. Let's see here. Where am I gonna? I think I'm stuck. I think we're right here. TN Coupon says thumbs up for a live stream. Thank you. We got Team Skyway 206. You joined us recently. What's up? Thanks for joining us. He said Rey Mysterio versus Cien Almas or versus Mysterio or Miz versus Mysterio, which those would not be bad matches. But what's up? Thanks for joining us. Smash, Kill, Mary, Ronda, Nikki, Brie. Oh man. We're about to talk about them shortly. What's up, Lauren? Sorry she's late. She loved she loved the certain turn that we got. I'll talk about shortly. Thought it was great. They did it on an emotional night. And prayers go to Roman no matter what you feel for a character. Him as a person having leukemia is no joke. Wish him best. Thank you, Lauren. Again, that's why I did my rant before again. Like I said, I mentioned before, I noticed some fans on Twitter who were Roman Reigns fans trashing Roman Reigns haters, pretty much telling them that, you should be happy this happens. And I said that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not going to go into that view again, but if you want to hear that rant again, go back and watch it. I'm not going to go into it again. But yeah, definitely again wish Roman the best. If WWE was to do a cooking show for the network, who would be the host? Who would be the host of a cooking show? Probably New Day. Because of their stuff. I'd say probably New Day. In my opinion, I'll say that. Lauren says Raw is better than usual. She gave it a B-, which is a reasonable grade. Again, I gave it a little higher grade because of what happened at the end. Is Braun a face now? Oh yeah, he's definitely babyface now. There's no doubt about it. Braun Strowman's a babyface. I think they turned Braun because of the Roman situation. I feel either way Braun would have turned whether Roman would have been around or not. I feel that was going to be the case afterwards anyways, in my opinion. Lesnar better not win a crown jewel. He better not. Bellas are better as heels by their mic, but their mic skills are awful. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that shortly. Hoping Molina will be a surprise entrant, which would be nice, but again, we don't know who's going to be in that Battle Royale besides all the jobbers and Tori Wilson. Again, as I said before, Evolution I'm going to check it out Sunday. Well, pretty much right away because I might not get back in time. I'll still check it out. I'd rather watch that than Crown Jewel, but yeah, Molina wouldn't be a bad surprise. That IC title match wouldn't be bad at Survivor Series. Book members for Team Angle and Team Corbin. Trying to think who would be. Well, obviously Corbin's going to get Ziggler, McIntyre, and himself. Who else would he get? Maybe Dean. Maybe if they don't do a match with Dean and Seth, maybe Dean will go there. And since Angle has always seemed to show his praise for Seth, maybe Seth will go on Team Angle. Maybe we will have champions on there. Maybe we'll get Strowman, Elias, Seth, Angle, and not sure who else. I could go 4 for now. I can't think of a 5th one, but I'd say my early picks would be if I could set even though I would not be opposed to Dean and Seth having a nice title match at Survivor Series, I would not be opposed to that. But if I can pick 4 at least for now for each team, Corbin, Ziggler, McIntyre, and Ambrose taking on a team of Angle, Elias, Seth, and Strowman. That's why I will say so far. I'd say for the teams, WWE should have never turned Braun heel to begin with. Bingo, but yeah. And I did hear that Cena and Bryan are refusing to work at Crown Jewel. Ambrose and Seth were at TLC for both the IC and tag belts. And at least for the IC title, I'm not sure about the tag belts. I'm not sure what they're going to do involved with the tag belt situation. We'll talk about that towards the end, of course. But I do think they should, since especially, that was the Shield's first match, and it would be great for them. Ambrose and Rollins, yes, definitely. TLC would be awesome. Predictions for Crown Jewel and Evolution. If you're up early, I'll do her. She'll do her Evolution predictions. Would be awesome. And Crown Jewel, I'll say the matches we got so far, maybe DX over Brothers of Destruction. Braun over Brock. And I still say there won't be a clean finish to the WWE title match because Miz will interfere. And I'll go ahead and say I think Miz will win the World Cup. Just to have an excuse for him to be able to say he deserves his title shot. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that tonight also with the tag titles. Yes, they did win the tag titles. She has worked from 11 to 4. They did win. Do you think Dolph and Drew are going to feud? Eventually, yes. Not yet, though. Hey, how WWE just announced Braun versus Brock could have had a battle royal, to be honest. I mean, I was fine with it again because they both kind of have their reasons to have a title match again. Brock does have a rematch clause, whether we like it or not. And Braun, got interfered on with his last title match. So, I mean, I'm fine with Braun and Brock having the match at Crown Jewel. Well, sorry, Crown Jewel. No one knew about Roman's condition. Again, as I said at the beginning of this review, maybe it was because, Roman didn't want to, him to be known as the guy who had leukemia and whatnot. But again, like I said at the beginning of this video, if this ends up being just storyline wise and just make us like Roman, I would probably stop watching wrestling. But again, I'm 95% sure this is all real. Yeah, we'll talk about that at Alliance definitely. TQ Part likes the Battle Royal idea. Apparently Alexa may be injured again. Oh goodness. Braun could win and face Ambrose for the title, which is possible. I wouldn't mind that. Nia or Michelle to win the Battle Royale and face Ronda. Yeah, I really don't know who to pick to win the Battle Royale. Actually, I'll say this. I hope it comes down to Ember Moon and Asuka. That's what I hope it comes down to in the Battle Royale. Unless some other big name appears in there. If a woman wins, do they challenge the Raw or SmackDown champion? I think it might be some NXT stars are also. I think it's either the title from their brand or they may be able to pick. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Lashley and Finn at Crown Jewel in a steel cage actually wouldn't be a bad idea. There understands why WWE uses jobbers, just waste time. Exactly. Do you think Cole and Kyrie will debut on the main roster at the end of the year? I would say at least by Royal Rumble for Kyrie Sane. Well, again, my thing is I think Kyrie will drop the title to Bianca Belair at TakeOver War Games 2. Or she could retain it and maybe get set for a second match at TakeOver Phoenix, since it's going to be Phoenix, Arizona. But I'd say them in Undisputed Era probably would be up. Well, my original idea for TLC being the Shield versus Undisputed Era, completely scrapped now for TLC. But I actually I would say at least Royal Rumble, if not definitely at WrestleMania, we'll see Kyrie Sane and the Undisputed Era. I think Shayna Baszler is coming up after Survivor Series, though. I think that's going to happen for sure. Team Amber versus Team Corbin will be tasteless, she feels. Team Corbin will have Corbin, Ambrose, McIntyre. Oh, Lashley. Yeah, I'd be cool with Lashley joining Team Corbin. That'd be a solid team. And Balor going out. Yeah, that makes sense. Rollins, Balor going to Team Angle. And maybe Sami Zayn. I don't think Sami Zayn's gonna be back. I think Sami Zayn's not gonna be back till WrestleMania. I hear. I'm gonna check out Evolution again. I may not be able to watch it in time though when I get home because I'll be coming home from a trip Sunday. I'm not sure what time I'm gonna be getting back yet. But I will check out Evolution. Is Steph actual a tweener or heel? Again, I have no clue. They pretty much turned realized phase. How long did you think Roman will be out of action? Not sure. I have no idea. Depends on how his sickness goes. My honest thoughts: hopefully he'll be back by Royal Rumble, but maybe not win the Royal Rumble. Maybe not win the Rumble, but maybe by Royal Rumble. I'll say that. I think you should wait another week to find out if Elias is a face, though. I considered it. Maybe I will. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll consider. I'm not sure. Even though Dean is, you think it should wait another week? Oh no, I'm not waiting another week for that one though. I'm not waiting another week. I mean, maybe I'll wait another week for Elias. I'm not sure yet. Zayn Angle's team put Elias in there. Is Cruz face or heel? Again, he's still face, but I would not have mind seeing him pull off a double turn with him and Elias tonight. As I said, these turns make no sense, but I like some, to be honest, just need some more stories added to them instead of just spoiling it all the time. True, some of them, yes. Orton and Mysterio and Jeff in a triple threat Survivor Series or TLC wouldn't be a bad match. Marcus, I know this is the Raw review, but I think it's sad the way WWE is treating Shinsuke Nakamura, and they gave him a title and aren't doing anything with him. Again, to me, they're treating it as a demotion. And I said in my video about Nakamura I did recently, the problem was NXT treated him like a huge megastar. And on the main roster, you expected them to be like that again. They booked him just like another one of the guys. And again, they've watered down the U.S. title with him because they're just treating it as a demotion for him. I do agree, definitely, though, it said. Watch there be a turn on 205 Live, NXT, and SmackDown as well. Maybe. Drew turning face wouldn't be a bad idea. Why do all the turns happen on the main roster, on the main shows, and not pay-per-views? That is true. I'm not sure why. Sorry, my phone's acting up. Would not have known. I like this. Lauren Hutton, silence your cell phone and shut your mouth. Yeah, again, Tina Kupar agrees. If Roman's leukemia is a storyline, then yeah, definitely goodbye WWE for sure. But that was a lot to be said in the live chat there, guys. Of course, but keep it coming, guys, as I'll go through the final hour of this show, and we will talk towards the end. As we then have the contract signing between Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey. Michael Cole is in the ring, and he announces Nikki to come out first. And Nikki and Brie come out, shaking their asses as usual. They get in the ring, and Brie holds up her hands, and Nikki starts like shadow boxing, throwing punches in there. I'm like, those punches look pathetic. They look pathetic. I'm sorry. Then Ronda comes out, and the Bellas just bail as soon as she gets in the ring, saying that they're here for a contract signing and not for a fight. In Rhode Island, in Providence, Rhode Island of all places. Ronda said she only came to make sure she signed so she can beat her up on Sunday. So get in the ring. And then Nikki comes in and she says her word is her bond. No matter what they say or do, she won't break that promise. And besides, if either of them could hurt her with hands behind her back, her mother would be ashamed of her. They go back into the ring, and then Nikki mocks the idea of her word being her bond, since Ronda apparently gave word to her mother about things she promised her winning the Olympics, the World Championships, that she never have to watch her baby get hurt in the octagon. Ronda did not keep her word to her mother, saying her mother's already ashamed of her at this point, and imagine what she's going to think when a diva beats her for the title. Ronda gets on the microphone and gets serious, drops the mic. Nikki signs and slaps Ronda across the face. Ronda then signs and says Sunday she'll end Nikki, and to that she'll give her her word. takes a title and leaves without violence, staying true to her word, even though I thought she stood on the apron for too long. I thought she was going to get beat up by the Bellas from behind. Here's the problem I have with this promo. First off, Nikki Bella saying that stuff about Ronda's mother apparently be ashamed of her because she promised to be Olympics and blah, blah. So it's like, first off, even though Ronda didn't get to the Olympics and get as high as, maybe she said she would, Nikki's like firing her shots like, is that all you got? What do you, again, have to back up other than the fact that you had a Divas title reign for how long? That was absolutely almost forgettable. And then, again, the most you've ever done, once again, is gone into John Cena's bedroom, pretty much. And the fact also, again, it's just, I understand maybe it's just, they're just trying to build heel heat, but it does not make any sense to me that the Bellas are continuously saying that they started this women's evolution, but then they're admitting that they're divas. So, honestly, here's how I would have cleaned this up. I would have the Bella twins say that they are disgusted by what everyone else has done to this women's division. Obviously, that they feel that this should still be a Divas division. So that way it could be about them, pretty much. That would make more sense to me to swallow, even though, again, I am not a fan of this match at all, and it better not be the main event. That'd be easier for me to swallow. But the fact they're saying that they're the pioneers and they're, the reason why this women's evolution is happening, and then they're still divas, it doesn't make any sense to me. So let's get this over with Sunday. Don't be the main event. Have it be Charlotte and Becky be the main event, not Nikki and not Ronda and whoever this is. Yeah, but end rant, but we got that. We get a recap again of Reigns and his announcement. We get social media reactions. Then we get a reminder that it's gonna be Brock and Braun Crown Jewel. Backstage, at Rollins and Ambrose being interviewed. Dean says they are not words to describe the ride the Shield have been on for the last 6 years, for the ups and downs, highs and lows. And when you don't know what to do or to say, you just got to do the only thing you know how to do. So tonight, they're going to do what they always do, win. Seth agrees there are no words. There are plenty of emotions, and tonight they're going to channel those into beating Drew and Dolph to be the new Raw Tag Team Champions. And they're going to do it for Roman because they love him. Believe that. We then have a random Fatal 4-Way match with Dana Brooke and Ember Moon, Nia Jackson, Tamina. Match was whatever. I didn't care for it. Ember wins by hitting the Eclipse on Tamina, and that's it. I don't even know what this match was. We then have Titus O'Neil doing a segment to promote breast cancer awareness, Susan G. Komen. Then we had this interview backstage with Lita and Trish talking about their tag match Evolution. Stratus runs Bliss and James down for laughing and giggling, and Lita says every time they get in the ring, Trish makes her a fiercer competitor, and they're ready for this. But then Alicia Fox rolls up. And was it just me, or did Alicia Fox look like a giant compared to everyone else? Like, everyone else looked like Alicia Fox to be like, I know Alicia Fox is probably a little taller than most of the women there, but to me, it was like she was like in front of like a green screen or something like that. And like everybody else just looked so tiny compared to her. I don't know if it was just me or not. Alicia Fox runs down, and Lita offers a message for Mickey and Alexa, but before she can get out, Mickey blindsides her and they get a brawl. But then Alicia, in the end, I think we had it separated, and Lita and Trish would then lay out Mickey and Alicia. But where was Alexa? I know this was told before. There were rumors that Alexa could be injured. So I don't know if that's true or not. But Alexa was not injured. Why wasn't she there tonight? And if that's the case, I hope we don't get. Actually, here's what I'm going to pitch. If Alexa's not cleared to wrestle, don't replace her with Alicia Fox. Make it a triple threat match between Mickey, Lita, and Trish. Triple threat. Mickey, Lita, and Trish. Don't make it a tag team match with Alicia Fox and Mickey James, because once again, that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So yeah, there we go. There. And then we had our main event. Ziggler McIntyre taking on Ambrose and Rollins. Ambrose and Rollins made their entrance out as the Shield, even though usually whenever they're not all three there, they don't do that, but they did as a tribute to Roman Reigns, their friend going on break for his leukemia. The match, I thought, was pretty good between them. They had, Rollins flying around with his action. Of course, there was one time where Ambrose went to try to chase down Ziggler, but then McIntyre took him out. Whatnot. Not much I really remember much about the match, but I do remember things got chaotic towards the end. Where Braun Strowman came out and he came out and then here's the thing I was worried was going to happen. I was scared Braun Strowman was going to act like he's buddy-buddy with the Shield all of a sudden now that he's a babyface again, which I thought would have been awful because it would make no sense because these are the two guys that costed him his Universal title when he tried to cash in on Roman after SummerSlam. He went in there and he solely targeted McIntyre. And well, actually, I'm sorry. Before this, that's when Rollins accidentally knocked down the referee, which made sense because if the referee saw us, there would have been a DQ. Braun comes out and he starts brawling with McIntyre. And I like that he only targeted McIntyre because that's the person he obviously has a single beef with. If he would have went out there and just started being buddy-buddy with the Shield all of a sudden, I would have been pissed. But I like that. So they brawl away like into the ring, and then they go out. Ziggler remains alone in the ring. Rollins then takes him out with the curb stomp, and then Ambrose throws referee Chad Patton back into the ring for a 3 count, and it's over. The Rollins and Ambrose win the titles yet again. So I believe that makes Rollins a 4-time tag team champion and Ambrose a 2-time tag team champion, I believe. And to me, so here's my reaction. To me, I'm like, okay, even though it's weird having Rollins holding both the IC and tag titles, I'm like, it still kind of like made sense for like a tribute to Roman for like what happened the night. So the emotions were high. And only thing I was thinking at this point was, okay, I'm about to go on my phone and text my friend and say, I kind of wonder how often we've seen someone be a dual champion twice in his career. Because Rollins won the United States Championship and WWE World Heavyweight title. He got that. He won the U.S. title at SummerSlam in 2015. So now we both tagged down IC title. So I was more concerned about that. And I thought the show was about to go off the air. All of a sudden, I look up and Dean Ambrose has Seth Rollins hit him with the dirty deeds. And I literally popped. I'm like, what? Like, I know some people were saying, and I'll get to my thoughts after I talk about the whole turn in the end. I know some people were saying that, they kind of made it obvious. But to me, I thought what they did was brilliant. I mean, yes, it kind of does, like, leave the Raw tag titles up in the air, like, what's going on with them now? Like, there's no depth behind this division at all whatsoever. Like, why put them on them? To me, honestly, my honest opinion, I feel this turn would have been a lot more obvious if they didn't win the tag titles. I mean, yes, again, it puts a damper on what's going on with the tag team division on Raw now, not that McIntyre and Ziggler don't have them, and Ambrose and Rollins don't. I mean, maybe they'll just drop them to AOP or something like that. I don't know what's going on, but Ambrose hits Rollins with a DDT. And for a second, with the dirty deeds, the crowd went silent. And for a second, what I liked here, what I really, really liked, it looked like Ambrose at first felt bad about what he did. He's trying to get his composure. but then you could see the look on his face. You could see just the pure evil just growing through his veins. And he just snapped. It was pretty much like, kind of the way Deluxe Man explained it. He did his fantasy booking idea in his top 5 superstars who should turn heel recently, saying how, Dean Ambrose just looks like he just opened up a whole big, dark side of his veins open or something like that. Again, he was punching him out repeatedly, and again, it looked like he was, again, just, at first thinking like, oh, when I do that, all of a sudden it's like the evil just grew up in him. He then started punching, like mat punching Rollins, grabbed him by the head and yelling at him, and then he kept beating him down, and he was asking him if he thinks it's funny. He did a neck crank applied on him, more punches, demanded Rollins to call him a lunatic again, and dumps him out of the ring. The brawl spills to the floor as Ambrose yells at him to watch his mouth and puts him into the barricade. Stomping away, Ambrose pulls the mat back and asks how Seth's going to talk his way out of this one before dragging him over to expose concrete. And just like Tommaso Ciampa likes to do, hits a DDT, some of the dirty deeds, on the concrete. Think about it. It made sense for Dean to do that to Seth, because remember what Dean did to Seth back in 2014? He pretty much gave him retribution by Ambrose when Ambrose I got tongue twisted when Rollins sent Ambrose's head. Excuse me, I can't talk now. Through cinder blocks. That kind of made me think that. I really wish though they would have involved the steel chair with this somehow. Because we said too, that's how Rollins turned his back on the Shield. And when Rollins gave Ambrose the steel chair last year and offered him the, hit him, take it, really did, that could have been, in fact, I know several people pitched the idea. But boy, did I see a lot of Tommaso Ciampa in this Dean Ambrose we saw when he turned heel tonight. He takes off his shirt, throws it into the ring. He walked through the crowd and walked away with that look on his face. And Rollins just laying there, heartbroken. Seth Rollins brought back the Shield together, forming the bond back with Ambrose last year. Even though, again, there was no story about him and Roman being on the same page again, it made absolutely no sense. Rollins obviously brought the Shield back together, and one by one, he lost them. Roman to sickness, Ambrose just turning on him. The seeds were planted. Again, I felt when Roman relinquished the title, I felt there could have been a chance it could have happened tonight. I really thought it could happen. But like I said before, even though, again, it's a weird situation for the Raw tag titles, the emotions were there. I mean, Dean could come out next week and say that, Roman left. I trust him more than Seth. My life, I pretty much, again, what he should have been saying, if he would have turned at SummerSlam on Seth. He could have said all there, how, he doesn't trust being with just Seth and whatnot. And how, and just, going from there. The emotions were there. To me, I know a lot of people, let's go to the polls on Twitter here and see what people think. Wow, 26 votes now actually for did you think tonight was the right night to turn Dean Ambrose heel? 26 votes. Say yes for all the participation with that. 58% said yes and 42% said no. So there were some mixed results. And for what I'm here, I'll say my grade. What grade would you give this emotional roller coaster ride episode of Raw? Only 4 votes, and that's 75% said A, 25% said B. I'll give my grade as a second. But again, I do understand people, again, it's a weird situation. It was an emotional night with, the Roman Reigns leukemia, but really, what better way for Dean Ambrose to get heat than to, kill the night and kill the mood in one night like he did with Rollins. Again, I did not expect the turn to happen with titles. Afterwards, when Dean was done being down, he threw all the titles at Rollins. He didn't walk out with any of the tag titles, one of the tag titles in his hands, or the IC title. I mean, I wonder if they're going to change up his ring attire now, and maybe he won't wrestle with a shirt on anymore. They probably have to change his theme music because I don't think his. I think his theme music still. I mean, I like his theme music, but it's still more of a babyface soundtrack. Man, though, again, my mom was literally sitting in the room with me, just looking at something on her phone, waiting for it to show, and like she was like, she even like was just like startled by my pop. Like I popped. I mean, because actually, here's the thing. When I saw the replay before I went live tonight, I noticed the fact that before Ambrose kicked Rollins in the gut, he dropped his title, one of the tag titles he had in his hand. So I thought if I would have seen that, it would have been like, uh-oh. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it would have been obvious, but it could have been like that, like, uh-oh moment. Like kind of like how it happened with like how Owens and Jericho explained, how the way the turn at Festival of Friendship happened. Like, so it kind of that, uh-oh, and then boom. In my opinion, again, I think this was brilliant because I feel at this point, if they would have dragged it on, it would not have felt as special. So, in my opinion, WWE fooled me. You guys fooled me tonight. Again, if they lost, they didn't win the tag titles, I probably would have expected it to happen. I would be like, oh boy, is this going to be it? This time, again, I was more focused on trying to see, I wonder if anybody else has been a dual champion more than once besides Rollins now. Excuse me. Man, Braun Strowman, again, maybe Elias or baby faces now. Dean Ambrose, man. Holy hell, again, that ending. That's how we ended Raw. With that amazing and brutal beatdown by Dean Ambrose. Literally, again, he fired the first shot, and it looked like he's like, oh, why did I do that? All of a sudden, it's like a monster was unleashed. And I loved it. Of course, Renee, I'm probably sitting up there on commentary like, why, honey? Why would you do this? And again, I'm glad also that it was just done with Seth Rollins there. Again, if it was just Dean Ambrose imploding the Shield, pretty much it would just been a repeat of what happened with Rollins turning on the Shield. I love this turn. I mean, I thought it was great, but Raw has definitely become lunatic. Dean Ambrose as a heel is going to steal the show. This is going to be the Jon Moxley Dean Ambrose we've been waiting to see in WWE for a long time. Yes, again, people will say his babyface run was flat. I wouldn't say his babyface run was a complete failure. I mean, I know, people weren't a fan of his corny material. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I definitely felt it was time. We didn't make another top heel in this company. It's Dean Ambrose. And I can't wait to see what it brings to the table. So once again, most people are saying yes. But a lot of people are saying no also to where this happened at the right time or not. Again, the downside of it, again, it's a strange situation for the Raw tag title division. But we'll see what happens next week with that as well. But that is it, guys. Again, before I check the live chat, more in a second. But again, I know this is going to be a little bit higher of a grade. Again, if it wasn't for the Ambrose heel turn, I'd probably give the show maybe like a B maybe. But I really like that turn, which is why I gave it a B+. I mean an A-, like a 90% I gave, because there was definitely some downs in the show, but the high, especially that turn, was high for me. Like I was shocked. Like, this is an episode of Raw I'm going to remember. I mean, well, parts of it. It's a show that I actually am going to say, hey, I will remember, that big shocking heel turn by Dean Ambrose. Again, yes, I know they made it obvious for weeks Ambrose was going to turn heel, but again, they add in that little spice of them winning the tag titles again. That tag title win threw me off big time. Big time. But let's check the live chat, and also this. Again, I got a few announcements just to know what to expect from the channel this weekend, because it's going to be a very hectic week for me. So just stay tuned for that. Let's see here. Where were we at before? I think we were shaking their butts is what the Bellas do best. That is definitely true, TN Couponer. Book it, Mike. Trish versus Leah versus Mickey. Again, that'd be awesome. We got Robbie saying, want some fancy booking? Sure thing, Robbie, hit me with some. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy at Survivor Series. Last man standing. I think that's genius. You're a genius, bro. That's why I like you. Could be the case. Obviously, I feel, they have some unfinished business since Jeff's come back and whatnot. They could probably, tease that again in the World Cup matches. Team Skyway 206. Next year, Survivor Series, Starrcade Wars, and Survivor Series Thoughts, War Games. Not sure what he means by that. Just book Trish versus Lita versus Mickey if they're injured. War Games on the main roster would be a good idea. Jeff versus Orton, last man standing match. How about an anything goes at TLC? Could do that as well. She popped as well when Dean turned heel. Tonight, the turn was unexpected, but it was perfect. And fans in the crowd were shocked. And I'm like, guys, you knew it was coming. I think, again, people were probably shocked in the crowd. But again, like I said, with winning the tag titles, you didn't think it was going to come. But especially also the fact that, it was a night, Roman Reigns, or good friend, gets sick gets told he's sick with leukemia. Lauren also says Dean has never been a heel on his own. She's going to enjoy this. I will too. Do you think Roman, Dean, or Rollins would make the best heel? I think character-wise, probably Dean. Seth, was good as a heel. Roman as a heel would be awesome because he'd be a badass in the ring. But I think Dean, character-wise, would probably be the best heel. Special edition for next week's Raw Halloween Havoc. Thoughts? Wouldn't be a bad idea. Dean's turn will only last till SummerSlam or Mania 35. She feels, to be honest. I'm hoping it lasts longer than that. If it's just that short, I wouldn't like that. She's really hoping that Roman's sickness isn't a storyline. Also, do you think on Reigns' return he'll feud with Dean? Probably. It'll make perfect sense in my opinion. Mike, I have to be real with you. My sadness over Roman's announcement became anger after hearing how WWE booked Sasha, Bayley, and Natty for Evolution. Oh yeah, definitely too. It pissed me off as well. Sasha needed to face Trish. I agree. But Roman's heartfelt promo proved that if he adjusts himself, he can deliver gold on the mic. Bingo, exactly. But nope, he has to talk about suffering, succotash, or wham, bam, thank you, bam, or faster than a speed, like pow. That was awful stuff. Or can I tell you a story, Big Show? It sounds like my aunt trying to tell the same story about some disgusting story from her childhood. How many times she tries to tell us. Anyways, but I don't think anybody. She doesn't think it was scripted. Sasha's team will lose at Evolution. Did you enjoy Dean or Seth's turn more? She had to say Dean's. Dean's was a little bit. I'll give it to Dean's because Dean's was a little bit longer, but they were both definitely shocking to me. As I've said how many times, for some reason, Seth was the last one out of the three of them that I thought were going to turn heel. I thought, in my opinion. Great Raw review. Loved your rant. See you tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Tired. Love you and see you guys later. Thank you again for joining me, Lauren. Good night, Mike. See you tomorrow for SmackDown review. Thank you for joining Mark. Some fan has signed that said Alexis be my stepmom. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. But yeah, guys, with that, I think I'm gonna check out also. I got several turn alerts to film. Not sure I'll be able to. I don't know. Maybe I might have to wait till tomorrow because of how late I've stayed up tonight. I've been doing this review and I have to be up at like 7 o'clock tomorrow morning to drive my mom to work. So maybe I'll wait till tomorrow morning to do the turn alerts. Yeah, I'll probably have to do that because I need to get a good night's sleep because I talked for a long time, which has been worth talking about because all the stuff that happened on this episode of Raw. Again, emotional roller coaster ride. Again, 90% for me, A-. That's what I give it. Let's get over this week though. Tomorrow definitely review SmackDown Live. I'm probably going to try to do the Evolution pre-predictions video though after SmackDown Live tomorrow night. I have to. My week is just so busy and hectic. I have to take my mom to work tomorrow because we're taking one of our cars in to get some parts put back on that were taken off before because whatever they did before didn't work. And we're probably going to get rid of that car. Got that. And then I'm working 2 days doing some freelance editing this week also, Wednesday. So I'm not going to be able to do more than just the 3 reviews for Take NXT UK, 205 Live NXT. Thursday on my special live stream. Again, I'm working Wednesday and Thursday, and again, keep my family in prayers again with our family member who passed away today. Again, that viewing's probably going to be Thursday, so I have that as well. And I should be home to do my special live stream Thursday. So hopefully I'll still be able to do it this week, which is going to be again on my top 10 women's stars of all time and a bonus topic. Won't say yet. And that's going to be it for this week. I mean, well, also, if I have time again, but just how hectic this week's going to be, I will do the 10 map mod of Halloween Wolfenstein 3D for this Halloween's next week. But guys, that's everything again, because I can't do anything this weekend because I'm going to be going out of town over this weekend out to Atlantic City for a short little trip because it's for my cousin's bachelor party. He's getting married in December, so I'm going there this weekend. So hopefully I win, but we're going to be doing other stuff besides gambling, so it should be fun. So again, schedule most likely going to be again throughout the week. I'm going to try to do Halloween Wolf 3D. It's only a 10 map mod. Tomorrow SmackDown review, and I'll probably have to do my Evolution preview predictions stream also right after SmackDown tomorrow. My SmackDown stream tomorrow night. Wednesday it will be the trifecta of NXT UK, 205 Live, NXT. Thursday special live stream, and then nothing over the weekend again. I should be home in time for Evolution on Sunday, maybe a little bit late because it takes about 6 hours to get across town. I'm not sure what time we're leaving Sunday. Got a drink. But either way, I will catch Evolution Sunday, and I'll probably do a review Sunday as well of Evolution. So yeah, crazy week this week, guys. Just stay patient with me again. There's a lot on work and ready for this trip, and with my distant cousin passing away. So keep my family and him as well in your prayers, and as well as, of course, Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i, however you pronounce his last name, in your prayers as well as he goes to battle with leukemia this week. So, guys, once again, what are your thoughts on Raw? Again, what are your thoughts on the Dean Ambrose heel turn? Again, I will – shut up, you scared the heck out of me there, Hoop. I will do the turn alerts tomorrow because I have no time to do them right now. It's like I get to bed. I got to get up early. So, again, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Again, I'll get the turn alerts uploaded tomorrow. Be sure to always click buy, like, and subscribe more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandEverybody3. Guys, I'm checking out. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Well, first tomorrow morning for my turn alert videos. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your night, and peace out, everybody.